Hi guys, Chessie here in studio, and today what I want to do is paint this beach scene. I thought that it would be really cool for me to paint it so you can see how I do it and then you can do it also. I have already laid out my palette. What I'm going to start doing first is kind of laying out the basic shape of the canvas, and luckily the canvas is kind of the same size as my iPad photo, so it's not going to be difficult to transcribe the photo to the canvas. This actually isn't canvas, this is linen, and I prefer linen because it has like a less grainy texture. It came pre-primed, it's already gessoed, so I didn't do anything to the linen prior to painting. Also, what I'm going to be using on top of my oil paints is lavender spike essence. I discovered this probably a month ago, and it has become my favorite painting medium ever. It kind of acts as like a turpentine, and it thins out my oil paint and helps it dry faster, so my oil painting will probably be dry within a day or two if I paint thinly. And I can start with like any color I want. Actually, what I normally like to do is lay down a coat of like red. So I'm painting like an outdoor scene right now. Overall, the color scheme is gonna be blue. If I'm gonna be painting a lot of blue, I'd like to go with like kind of the opposite of blue as like a background. So I'll paint my entire canvas red. So now that I got my background painted kind of like this reddish umbery yellow tone, I'm gonna go ahead and start laying down like the basic shape of my painting. I like to do a lot of measuring in my head. See, the clouds start just past halfway. This photograph was taken in the summertime, and so we're on the east coast of Florida. So we get these huge storms that like build on the west, like right above Lake Okeechobee. And like you could have the most gorgeous morning ever, like not a cloud in the sky. It's beautiful, and then all of a sudden like noon comes around and these giant storms just like take over the state. And we're not going for perfection here, you know, like at least I'm not. Like I'm a impressionist painter. I'm all about like the light and the shape and things like that, so I'm not going for like exact photorealism. So if you think this is like a photorealism thing, like I'm impressionistic. Like a contemporary impressionistic, you know? You gotta throw the word contemporary in there because that's like an artist's term. And only like real artists use that term. So I'm gonna like change my color a little bit and kind of make it the color of foliage so that like I know what I'm doing. Cool thing about oil paint, it takes a long time to dry, so you can do that. Like you can totally take away what you don't like if you make a mistake. With acrylic, it tends to dry really fast, so if you don't like something you did, you have to paint over it. But with oil, you can either like dip a cloth in some turpentine or mineral spirits or whatever and block it out, take your fingers. However, and this is really important, a lot of oil paints are like super toxic. Cadmiums are toxic, and a lot of the white is really toxic. Flake white, for example, is one of them. Zinc, titanium. So if I die, it's probably from like constant oil paint just like soaked in my skin. So I'm gonna start like really dark up here and then like make it lighter as it gets to the horizon line. And as it gets to the horizon line, I don't know if you can see, there's like a little bit of yellow in there. See that contrast of like the blue against the red? It just like makes the blue pop, and that's why I do that. That's why I paint the background red, is because it makes those colors pop. Why? Why do bristles have to die?
Mm-hmm.